Kia ora from beautiful Aotearoa, that is to say hello from beautiful New Zealand. I'm Career Break Guy, taking a break tonight from my corporate life to play a little more of my Overhill and Underhill solo play. This is the new starter box, which has come out from Free League, or at least comes out, I think, in a couple of days. I have got notification that my one that I pre-ordered is in the post, so hopefully I'll get that within the next week. But in the meantime, I've got the PDF, I've got the setup. We're one session in, following Duinhir, how do I pronounce his name again? Duinhir, yeah. And his compatriots, who we've got Fimbrethil, an elven scholar, Gera, a barding captain, Mentha, a hobbit treasure hunter, and Regin, a dwarven champion. So just a quick recap what happened. This group was set on a quest to... Gosh, it's been a while. I had some guests since then, which is why I delayed getting this out. They were sent north to check out a... that's it. Yes. Man, you should really prep these things sometimes, but also I like running a no-prep session. They were told by a hunter of a creepy hill, and he had howling, and it caused him great concern, and so he told their patron of his great concerns as well, Gilrain, the head of the rangers. So she tasked with this fellowship to head north into the North Downs, and try and find out what was happening. The party travelled for a few days. Unfortunately, Duinhir got tricked into drinking or almost getting drowned by a possessed, cursed lake. But then they found this hill, and on this hill was a series of standing stones, 5 standing stones, and also a pit. And inside the pit was various corpses, animals, humans, a horse which had Ranger of the North markings on it. Hopefully not anyone that Duinhir knows, because he's a Ranger of the North. A Warden of the North. No, Ranger of the North. And while they were investigating up there, they also figured out that there was woodmen who lived in this area. Hillfolk that lived in this area. And as they were having a investigation, they were ambushed by a group of goblins, including a warband leader, or a patrol leader, and a warg. The combat didn't go super well, as you can't actually see because it's behind my head, but Duinhir took quite a few hits in his single combat against the leader of the party, but eventually he killed him, and they managed to drive the rest of the remaining goblins back. There was only a couple left. So that's where we're picked up. The party is standing on top of this mound. The battle's recently over. They're quite exhausted, but there's more investigation to do, and they need to get somewhere before night to hunker down. It's not safe to stay here, especially if those goblins come back. So just a reminder as well, the way I was playing this was, it's a pre-written adventure. So I will read a little bit, ideally just the scene setting part, and then I'll think about what my fellowship are doing, and then series of rolls, and also reading a little bit ahead to see if there's any kind of keywords that I need to be looking for, kind of like the DM Yourself books. And I'll just kind of back and forth. Sometimes I might need to go back and redo something, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I had, last time, from memory, Underhill, we had a little map that I could share. Yes, there we go. So that's the hill with the pit, and there's our standing stones. It's where the party came up, on the southwest, if we're saying that's north, south, up and down. But there's this path off to the right. And so having cleared off the goblins, I've just suddenly thought about that horse and like whether he would try and do anything. I think he would just say some words. Because he's not necessarily going to go digging through the corpses in case there is a ranger's corpse in there. So he's just going to treat the pit with the bodies with some respect. Yeah, say some words, maybe carve something on a stone to mark it. But otherwise, we're going to head on. We want to get away before those goblins regroup and come back with more forces. All right, so heading away. Let's see. Runes of Cairn. Just reading through that book. The attack. Right. The combat. No, okay, so they carry on. So they get to the ruins of Crown. The Plower's heroes reach Crown by following the eastward path from the crowned hill. No journey procedures needed. Nice. It's just a few miles apart in the same hex. So when they emerge, there's actually a bit of text, so let's just read that then. So emerging from the woods, you first catch sight of what appears to be an unusual thicket. Its dense growth seeming unnatural. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes evident that it's actually a palisade made of tightly packed tree trunks and branches largely, but not completely hacked off. There's no immediate visible opening in the fence. The silence is striking. No barking dogs, no bleating sheep, no smoke rising from the chimneys to greet you. Oh, and then I saw the next line, which says, show the players the map below, which... see if I can find that here. Here we go. So this is... party must be coming in from this gate here. So before they get in, I'm just going to try and make a few ideas on how they might react. They are quite cautious. Normally, I think that Duinhir would go first, kind of scout out the area. He's more capable. He's still quite stealthy. And I think he's going to start to move forward. But this time, what's her name again? Mentha is just going to put a hand on his arm and just looks at him, and he gets the idea that, hold on, actually, yes, I am quite injured. And she just reassures him that, hey, look, I'm just going to take a look. I'll come back if there's any trouble at all. Just wait here for me for a moment. And to that end, so does he have a bow? He does not have a bow, but he's got a spear if need be. Okay. So Mentha is going to sneak forward, stealthily try and investigate, and I will, you know what, let's roll our maneuver. It's for the general party, but I think, you know, just with this. So, you know what, I'm going to put this as part of the burglary, so let's say she gets a bonus die. So I've got maneuver 3, plus 1d6, 1d1 success die. Not a d20, wrong game. I just was playing some Dragonbone with friends. 1, 2, 3 dice. Oh, actually it's a star, so it's favored. And one more for her burglary inquisitiveness. You know, she's capable at taking a gander. I do have that up there. And a 22. Easily, oh wait, 21, because that 1 doesn't count. We just take the higher of the dice. Hey, sorry, I was just looking back at how the other ones are rolled. Yeah, so we did make the goal of 16, but also we got a 6, which means that we get a extra success. And I might just kind of bank that for the moment. I think that might come in handy if we need to be a little more stealthy, or maybe I can use that. I'll spend that to, you know, put something in my favor depending on what we find. So I'm just going to read ahead a little bit to see when she's stealthily sneaking forwards, and she's going to move forward, try and find if there's any, especially orcs or goblins around in the area. Maybe people have been killed, or see if there's still people here who are hiding from the goblins, maybe trying to lay an ambush for goblins. She doesn't want it to accidentally be sprung on them, for them to seem hostile, but she's going to sneak in, and when it's clear, she's going to go back for the rest of the party so that they can come forward. Actually, just having a bit of a read forward. Entrance is there. Yep, it's a nice sturdy gate. Which it lies shattered on the ground, so it looks like someone's probably already come through here. So it's a good thing that she's having a bit of a scout. There's an aftermath of a recent and brutal attack. It's unmistakable. I wonder if there's any survivors. Maybe that success will go towards finding survivors. Huts and ruins, most of their structures demolished. Where's that picture gone for you again? Oh yeah, you can see most of them are demolished, just these ones towards the back. Evidence of a fierce struggle, so well done to these hill folk. Remarkably few bodies are left behind, but those that here have been half devoured by wargs and now serving as grisly offerings for the crows. But there is one structure which stands out due to its size, which is a communal hall. I guess she's going to sneak forward towards that to have her investigation. We're just going to keep going on that stealth roll. There's a bit more text to read. So the largest structure of the village is a circular building spanning a dozen paces across and standing half as tall. Likely served as the main gathering place for the people of Cran. Its thatched roof is supported by large carved wooden beams. Their surfaces adorned with symbols from times long past. The hall's door lies shattered, and sparse furniture has been demolished, evidence of a violent skirmish still visible. The only intact fixture is a large stone fireplace, cold and dark, but untouched by the destruction. Searching for it. Okay, so what I did was I just skimmed really quickly through the page. The next heading it said talked about a trail, as in like it was like the trail east or whatever. So I think there's only a couple of paragraphs around what's in this town, so I think it's safe to say that if we've found someone or something, then we would have encountered them. So she's going to call forward the party. They're still going to be incredibly cautious. Maybe that's where the success goes, as an alertness thing. But she's going to call them forward. It's getting dark, and I think we actually need to set up a camp. And that communal hall, even though the palisade's been broken down, it was just the door that was broken on this communal hall. So I think maybe it feels like this is more within camp, but it makes sense that they'd be camping there anyway. So the fellowship's going to regroup in there. And first things first is they are going to set up a barricade with some of these broken furniture to protect, just try and slow down if anyone was to show up, but at the same time, they don't want to block themselves in. I think they're just going to search around inside of here to see if there's anything, I guess, valuable that they need to not steal, but like be aware of if there's something of cultural importance. Also looking to see if there's maybe any places where the walls are a little caved in, or there might be a burrowed secret tunnel underneath that the goblins have used, so we want to be aware of that. So they're going to search the room or the hall and also prepare it to sleep. Ideally, if everything goes well, they'll set up a fire and camp there for the night. So I'm just going to go through, see if there's anything that I need to deal with. Okay, so good thing is, the next thing I read was the communal hall provides a safe enough shelter to rest for the night. Yes, that's what we were looking for. However, it looks like there may be someone, and okay. So the situation is, I'm just reading a little bit more through here, and it says that someone is hiding. But based on what I said they would be doing, examining the room, setting up barricades, setting up camp, getting ready for the night, it triggers the next thing that we would be expecting. So what happens is that obviously Duinhir is going to volunteer to take a watch, but then I think it's Fimbrethil, the elf, is just going to say, hey, look, you raised up, you took on that goblin patrol leader on your own. I think maybe have something to eat, and then you rest because we're going to need you in better shape tomorrow to continue tracking the goblins and see what else we just need you in tip top shape. So she's going to take the first watch. They're going to settle down for some food, and I'm actually just going to sort of spend that success that Mentha had earlier. Not strictly the way that the rule works, but hey, it's a solo play, so I get to, we can do these kind of things. So I think Fembrithel is, keeping watch. She's keeping her eyes out of out the door, and they've managed to block it in such a way that the fire is largely hidden away. Although I see all these windows at the top, so obviously there'll be some light. But they're trying to do their best to keep it discreet. And the rest of the party is going to sleep. But it's a Mentha who is rolling over, getting comfy. And she notices up in the rafter just like some pairs of eyes peering down, just small eyes reflecting just lightly in the light, not reflecting like a cat's eyes type thing, but just, how eyes are moist, so just kind of catches the flickering. And she plays it kind of cool. And then she'll just like casually get up, kind of wander over to Gira, I believe her name was. The name of my party, it's been a while, Gira. And she's like, hey, look, I just need to go to the bathroom. Hey, can I get someone to help? And Gira's a bit like, oh, what? Okay, whatever. I guess we shouldn't leave each other alone. And so gets her up and starts to head away. And as she gets outside, she points out that, like, just outside the door, she like pulls in, lets her know that, hey, look, there's some people up in the rafter. They weren't attacking. They just look like they were watching. And she kind of points out where, like, they just kind of peer back in through one of the windows and point to where it is. And Gareth sees these people, and they can now make out a bit more of a shape. And what it is there's some children who are actually doing a really great job of hiding. However, again, I just carried over the success from earlier. And so they come back in, and they go back to where the others are sleeping, and they just kind of like, I imagine they've worked together long enough that they've just got some signals, and so as they come back in, they maybe just shoot a glance at Fimbrithil just to let her know that something's up, and they wake the others up. Regin is I mean, good friends with Mentha, always down for a laugh, but at the same time, he's like, oh, what, you're waking me. I barely had any sleep. Blah, blah, blah. Once everyone's kind of conscious is when Mentha is going to call out to these little children. It's like, hey, we see you up there. Look, we're not here to hurt you. Who are you? Are you from this village? And I think I'm just going to read a little more. Meet the children to gain the children's trust. They suggest you use a council, which is one of the other mechanics in this game. So with a council using the Moria rules, it's all your character, unless you can add like an extra dice if there's something from one of your party that is worth it. And I think, between my little party, we'll probably be able to help aid my cause. So it says set the resistance. You've got simpler tasks, which are resistance 3, more complex ones, which are 6, and then you've got quite out there requests, which are 9. what am we actually trying to... We're trying to win their trust. I guess uh, coax them down so that they can come and have some food maybe, or maybe they feel safer up there. But I guess just engaging them in conversation, trying to find out what happened. Um, I'm assuming, that the goblins from before are the ones that attacked here. Obviously in larger number though, like one little patrol wouldn't have been enough. So whether they know, um, one if it was goblins and oh no, there was wargs, warg food. So definitely goblins, but whether they know where those goblins are, maybe the tribe knew of them anyway. So we're just going to try and get a bit of information for them. And okay, looking here, it's actually got suggestions as to what it is you're asking, what the difficulty is. So if you want them to tell you about the attack from the beams, they're happy about that, so that's an easy thing. If you want them to come down and speak face to face, it's a little harder. And oh wow, if you want them to guide you, then it's outrageous difficulty. So I think, yeah, we're just gonna... I think Mentha's gonna note that how unsure they seem, and so it's just gonna suggest that, hey, maybe we take a casual... Let's just get a bit of information. If they want to come down, and I think if we get like a really great success, maybe I'll say they come down. But we're just gonna go for a low target number of 3, trying to understand, what's the haps. So first of all, we have to make a introduction. So this is a courtesy roll, which I'm so glad he has nothing in. But I think what's his kind of things? Honorable, stern. I think, looking at this, we've got someone who's fair and lordly, bold and proud. So we've got people who seem heroic. We've got Meta, who seems quite lovely. Regin looks like a bit of a hard case. And even old Duinhir, who's stern, still seems honourable. So I'll say, you know what, we'll give myself the advantage there, so he get 1 extra dice, which is useful because it means he has 1 dice, 1 bonus dice. But he's weary, so this is not gonna go well. So I got a 4, which is a failure. It's been a while since I've run a council, so let me just double check the rules. Make a thing, results, time limit from the interactions. I think what it is if I fail the conversation now, then it's just going to go absolutely to heck. So it's kind of role is this enhearten? Doesn't have enhearten. Explore, lore, stealth, scan, battle, healing, travel, hunting, song, craft, or maybe he's going to try and awe them a little bit. Might discuss about how they've just defeated some goblins, and try and encourage them in that regards. Children's deep-rooted suspicion of outsiders require interactions to be handled with care. Huh. Interesting. Hearten is good, as is persuade. Oh, they're reluctant to speak to an elf or ranger whom they find intimidating. Lose 1 die. Oh, on the contrary, if the conversation is led by Hobbit, the children are more at ease in skill rolls, gain 1 die. So what I might do is, mechanically for this game, being the Moria rules, it's Duinhir who has to do the rolling. So he's got 1 die, less 1 dice because he's a ranger, but I'm going to then add that dice back because I think Mentha is, well, actually, yeah, Mentha was the one who was he gently into this in the first place. So +1, -1. Oh, still weary though. 7 is a failure. These kids are not down with this. So set the resistance. So I'm just going back through those. So set the resistance. If the roll is a failure, time limit is equal to 3. They're a bit reluctant. I probably should have taken... Oh, wait. That should account for that. At die, enhearten, insight, persuade, or riddle, or song, it says. Oops. Okay, well, we'll just use that first one and know that that didn't work. So we've got no successes so far. I've got 2 more attempts. So he starts talking about battle, and I think one of the... Yeah, as he's talking about how they defeated the goblins, you can read on the face that he sees the children and how they're kind of like having this flashback of when the town was attacked, and he realizes this is not the tact. This is not going to be the way to get these children to trust him. And yeah, so with the song, he's going to think of well, one, he's going to sit down and apologize, and he talks to them about how he got quite nervous. He was a bit surprised about how well they snuck up on him. And he's just going to reminisce, and he's just going to stop for a moment, and then he's going to kind of break out into a song from his youth, just something that some elder that he knew used to sing and used to bring him a bit of calm and peace. So let's try that instead. I mean, 9, we're doing better, but it's still horrible. He's not a good singer, unfortunately. So on the final attempt, so he's singing, and I think the kids are crowding back. At the very least, they're not opening up. So he realizes that this is not actually going well for them. Enhearten, insight, persuade, or riddle, or song. Enhearten, insight, persuade, riddle, and song. Okay, it is the only one he's got. Yeah, to heck with it. I'm gonna use my own rules. So let's just use the party is going to talk. Enter is gonna just tell him to woe back. Just hold on, man. The target number is going to be higher anyway. She's going to use her expertise. I'm going to give her an extra dice, because she's the hobbit. So 3 dice, a target number of 16. I'm not going to get enough anyway. But she's going to come down and say, hey, look, this is a scary time. Just reassure them that they don't need to come down, but the party would really like to know what happened, because they want to make sure that, that these goblins won't hurt anyone else, and, is there anyone... They want to make sure that they don't see a lot of people here, so if someone's been captured, for instance, they want to be able to find them so that they can then rescue them. So she's going to roll these dice. I really should have done this earlier. Yep, there you go. So we got the success. We've got an additional success. So we've got 2 successes in the end. Really should have just let out with the Hobbit. So that was not successful. Let's see if the reaches the number of... Nope. Player heroes that fail their available rolls will score a number of successful rolls but fail to match the resistance. Have a botched introduction, or after a botched introduction, company is seen as a threat. So yeah, she does talk to them and try and cajole, bring them down and say that she just wants to find if anyone is safe or has been captured so they can get them back. But maybe Duinhir just kind of something on his face, or maybe it's something Regin does. Regin maybe seems a bit too eager to hunt these orcs, and it spooks the kids, and they just scuttle off the rafters and out one of those windows. Gira's ready to run out there and grab them, but Mentha again just stops her, and it's like, you know, they're going to need time to come back to us. So yeah, we don't get any information there. That part would be easier with more players, I think, because then you could just share out and not just have Duinhir ruin it for everyone. Okay, so as I said, the next heading was the trail leads east, so I think just going to read ahead a little bit. I imagine that nothing else is going to happen overnight. Okay, so they wake in the morning, and nice. The trails left by the attacker. This isn't a reading thing. This is just the normal text. So the tracks left by the attackers are unmistakable, etched into the earth around Cran like scars. You know, now that the lights come up, it's a lot easier to see. And Duinhir is looking at these, and he's like, "Okay, look, it's a large group. It's got goblins, it's got humans, it's got warg pack, but everyone is heading east." But the problem is, we know that if you head east from here, you enter the lone lands of Rudar, a dark, cursed kingdom home to evil spirits and wild men. Do we have the map of Eriador? Yeah. So we're currently around here-ish. Oh, wait. How can I do it? Yeah. We're currently around here-ish. I had the thing on pause the whole time. But now the path is led out east into Rudar. Rudar? You can correct me in the comments if you can pronounce the names from Middle-earth correctly, because solo, I'm happy with how I'm pronouncing it. Bloop. Alright, so following the trail marked by both captors and captives, we venture deep into the desolate wildlands of Rudar. Choose roles for the journey. So again, because this is a solo journey, roll to see if people can catch up, and then we actually get Duinhir to do his role. We didn't present the children, so that's not an issue. We've got 4 hexes, so it should be a couple of days. Alright, so first of all, yes, let's do our roll maneuver. And you know what, let's just say that as we're going along, Gira is going to her leadership. She's going to keep our spirits up, because everyone's a little apprehensive. That small patrol of goblins did a number on us, so we're a little cautious. But she's going to bring her hearts up. And you know what, Regin is going to talk about what he knows about orcs and goblins and how to defeat them and what we might expect. So I'm going to give 1 dice on this maneuver to try and get us all here. It's favored, so 2d12 plus 4 dice, 4 dice. 12 is a Gandalf. So we've got a Gandalf, which is automatic success plus an additional success. In the Strider mode, I've got my little printout here. It does have things that if you get a Gandalf, you know, it suggests things that Gandalf might imply. You know, we can get a fortune table result. Anyway, yeah, so they set a cracking pace. They have they're working well with Duinhir, keeping each other's spirits up as he is tracking, which I mean, reasonably easy to track, but the spirits are keeping up. So now that we've rolled the marching test for the band. You make a player travel test for the hero. Again, it's just a real shame that I am weary at the moment. Marching test, if a roll is successful, 1d6 plus 1d6 for each success. So we got, we succeeded, plus we got an extra d6. Boom, so we got another success, 24. That's a success as well. So we travel for, a success is 6 miles plus 2 additional miles for each additional success icon. So we actually made it the whole 8 miles. And now we resolve a journey event for that. But we will get across the entire journey. So it does say here that there is a journey event that you can use. Any event in this journey should be expanded upon this scene. So, as the players follow the tracks of goblins, so we can attempt a scan roll. Nothing there that I think is going to necessarily help us. Honorable Stern Shadow. No. So let's just do a scan. Oh, and a Gandalf. There we go. Automatic success. So, as much as he's leading, Duinhir has noticed something. I just need to figure out what it is he's noticed now. A solitary figure, cloaked in tattered garments, resembling a spectre haunting this forsaken lands. Okay, so we notice that it's traveling, and as we travel, it's following us. How do we want to deal with that? Again, he's going, I think they've worked together long enough that he makes some references to them. Or if the thing's, creature's not in earshot, just quietly informs the others that they're being followed. But, be cool because it's not actually getting closer at the moment, it's maintaining its distance. I imagine that Gira is going to suggest that they set up an ambush, and so I think, we've got our automatic success. We're going to look for a spot where we can try and get the jump on this this creature. Oh, there you go. Depending on strategy, might find ambush, find a defensible spot, and wait for his approach. Or greet him openly around a campfire. Okay. Oh, mysterious figure means no harm. So, here's a bit of text that you read. So the mysterious wanderer lowers his hood, revealing a tall, lean ranger, with dark, shaggy hair and piercing grey eyes, untouched by time. Despite his youthful appearance, his face reflects a depth of wisdom beyond his years. I come in peace, he says. I've been searching for a stolen horse in the lone lands and found what remained of it in a pit atop the crowned hill. The tracks there, led me to you. You don't look like horse killers to me, so I wonder what you were doing in these savage lands. I think and they're going to explain. I was going to say, says they have a chat, and then we eventually discover eventually reveals his name. So, first of all, Duinhir is going to be, hey, well met, brother. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Well met, brother. As in a fellow ranger of the north. We were searching. We were sent by Gilvain to find out what was happening here, and we found that we were ambushed by goblins. He recounts the story. He's very clearly injured anyway. Well, not injured, but like battle wearied. And he says, unfortunately, the horse was already dead by that point, and points out that he did do that little marking to mark its passage, but that they didn't stay longer to do any burial rites because they were concerned that the goblins would come back, and that would be not just a ranger's horse, then potentially a corpse in the pit, but a ranger as well. So that seemed like a fool's errand. Um, so I think I'm just going to assume that he is okay with this, but I'm going to read through there's a little bit of text about him. So he eventually introduces himself as Strider. I kind of wish he didn't. In fact, I'm going to say that he is not Strider. He introduces himself as Thurbal. Thurbig. Duinhir hasn't come across him before, but no, Thurbig knows Gilrain as well, and so the introductions go well. Unless it says that it has to be Strider. I just don't like using characters who are already established in the lore. Yeah, like the other starter box has Bilbo, and rubs me the wrong way. Anyway, so residents from Bree have heard about this guy. Maybe not this guy. Now that he's Thurbig. He tells how he was returning to Bree with other rangers when they were ambushed by goblins who stole a horse. If the company treated the fallen animal with respect, he expresses his gratitude and asks about their mission and identities. He's Gilrain's son, so that's he knows of them. It has to be certain. So maybe I'll let him be Strider. Upon learning about their business, he's heard tales about the Goblin clan with unusual customs, although he hasn't had a chance to investigate further. And he shares this with our fellowship. It says he will not offer to join the company. We're not going to ask him. He's got things to attend to. If one or more of the player heroes are seriously injured, well, we've got a few moderate injuries. Regin and Gira, our key fighters, and Duinhir are all quite beaten up at the moment. He offers them a drink from a silver-bound flask containing Mirror, the cordial of Imladris. We recover all lost endurance points, cancel any cumulative fatigue, and reduce the number of days required for wound to heal by 1. I think what I'll just say is that, he has no wounds, but it said get rid of his fatigue, which I'm down with. It also says recover lost endurance. So no longer weary. And I think I'm just going to say that these two go down 1 injury level each. Should we give you 1 as well? Yep. So the only one, Regin, is still feeling sore. Hardy dwarf, also hardy or hard to heal. And the party, we all thank him for his assistance. We're feeling a lot more able to pursue our duty now. And as I say, he had other things to do, so he bids them farewell, wishes them well on their journey. And because we managed to travel the full 8, we are now where it is that we wanted to go. This was something that happened along the way. All right, so now your hunt has taken you. This is to read text. Your hunt has taken you deep into the forgotten realm of Ruidor. As you advance towards the misty mountains, the peak of Mount Graham looms ever closer, its malevolent presence sending a chill down your spine. Eventually, the goblin tracks deviate from the eastward path, winding down a dark, narrow valley. Upon reaching its end, you find yourself confronted by a dreary, rocky mound that resembles a heap of gigantic stones, carelessly piled as if by a bored giant. At its summit, you catch glimpses of ancient walls of stone and ruins of towers with evil look, as if they had been built by wicked people. At the base of the mound lies a gaping cave entrance, its interior shrouded by impenetrable darkness. Gather your courage, for it appears you're about to put your mettle to the test. So, looking here, there's a bit more description. So, the mouth of the cave is scattered with old bones, human and animal. Some of these bones seem to be broken by some kind of enormous thing. They were they've very clearly been shattered by something strong and potentially large. And then it starts describing what's in there. So before I read what's in there, now that he's feeling better, uh, again, Duinhir is going to take the lead, and then the party's going to follow a little bit further back. You know, ranged weapons at the ready, not for Regin and Gira. You know, Menther and Fimbrithil are more of a ranged people, but the other two have got swords and shields out. Duinhir's going down with a spear just in case. Scouting out carefully to get a sense, listening to see if there's anything that he can hear. Giving moments for his eyes to adjust as best they can, and then trying to work their way through the tunnels. Alright, so the entrance leads into a vast cavern from which several dark passages extend deeper underground. It's like a vast, intricate maze. Oh, and it's assumed that someone has a torch or lantern or other source of light, so yeah. If it's beyond the point of being able to adjust for the light, then we will just have to get a torch going. I think, Menther will carry a torch for the party. The four of them are quite closely grouped, except for Duinhir, who is a little bit further ahead, more towards the edge of the light, but not too far ahead, because he still wants that a bit ahead of him so he can not just stumble into whatever's in front of him. So the exploration of this underground complex requires 3 explore rolls, each conducted individually by a player hero chosen to act as a guide. In this case, it is Duinhir. Exploration. Explore. Aye, nice. That's one of his ones. Honorable Stern Shadow Law. No, that's not going to be useful. Hatchet. Good for crafting. Not much else. Again, this is where if the other characters were real characters, that someone might have better stats or another thing that was useful in this case, but it's still an explore roll. Oh no. Sauron. Um, let's see. Failure. Company must face a dangerous encounter. Roll a success die on the table for dangerous encounters. So as they're tracking along, something happens already. Dangerous encounters. A bridge of peril. Where is this bridge of perils? So the passageway that they're carrying on through, the air starts to cool. There's almost like a howling noise as the wind moves through, and Duinhir can hear that moving into a larger area. The torch itself begins to flicker a bit more. And the passageway opens into the edge of a deep chasm from which the sound of rushing water echoes upwards. There's a narrow, frayed rope bridge that stretches across, supported by 2 ropes tied on either side. And at the other end, 2 orc soldiers stand idly guarding the bridge, engrossed in a low guttural conversation. Okay, so one, we're just going to try and get that light out of the way. And I'm going to assume that the bridge is not too far, that we couldn't try and shoot these orcs to take them down. So what I might do is I'm going to say that I'm just going to rush through it. I'm going to do a war roll, which is a really terrible idea because that's 1d12 for a thing plus a 1d6. Fierce, willful, proud, lordly. I I don't think any of those really lend themselves to adding an extra dice, but I will spend 1 hope because, man, I need this to work. So let's spend 1 fellowship point to give ourselves another d6. So we'll roll 2d6 plus a d12. If I succeed, then we have managed to successfully stealth take down these orcs. And you know what? A Gandalf will do it. So Mentha and Fimbrithil and Gira draw back their bows. Everyone else gets ready as well. Regin is feeling kind of useless at the moment. It's a bit too far for him. Draw back their bows. And then almost in unison, loose these arrows, which sail across this chasm and strike both the orcs with a startled gasp noise and a spin and plummet, both of them down into this chasm, into the water. And there's a distant splash, and the whole party freezes, has a moment just to make sure that nothing else is coming. And with nothing else, I'm just going to say that the orcs are now dead. And have a bit more read about this encounter. Let's see, if players hero... Okay, it says that the orcs will try and sever the bridge, which can make people fall in, but I've just said that they're dead, so we can take our time a little bit to get across. Okay, so that was unfortunate. That was one failed roll, and it said I had 3 rolls to get there. Okay, so let's make another roll. We've gotten past there, and so now we're going to continue to explore through. Hopefully we'll succeed this time. Really? Really? I mean, nice that there was a success there. But that doesn't count in this situation. So another failure, which means we get another awful encounter. This time an orcish roast. Where is it? Orcish roast? Oh wait, sorry. That's a normal encounter. That's something you want to see. No, we get the banquet of blood. That sounds much worse. So a low growl echoes from the passage as we've continued away from this bridge, accompanied by the sickening sound of gnawing jaws. In the dim light, yellow eyes glint. First one pair, then another and another. Oh. Pack of wild wolves is feasting on the remains of an unfortunate goblin. Oh, and the leader growls in a raspy voice. Who dares disturb our snack? There's one fewer than the player heroes, but they're all ready to abandon their meal and attack. Hold on, are they going to attack? Oh, I thought they would attack. It doesn't, but it says if the company engages. Well, yeah, I mean, we're not necessarily going to run from it. So we're going to enter combat. Let's roll battle. This is to see whether we can, in this brief moment, try and find a way of, I guess, getting in a better position. Battle. Nope. Okay. So that puts us at a disadvantage. I guess, yeah, where we are, the creatures have a much better position. So this first round of combat is going to be less in our favor, I imagine. So what we have to do, I'm going to pull out my old book again. I need to run more Moria. Or at least Moria fights. So I need to choose, I believe, a idea of what Duinhir is going to do. Yeah, so there we go. The clash sequence, if you didn't remember from last week or last session, is select the leader's focus, and the leader is just going to, well, Duinhir is just going to get into the fight. He's going to get stuck in. He gets to roll around with combat, and then that will influence the clash roll itself. So, roll appropriate combat proficiency for an equipped weapon modified. So it's the enemy group's might 10 plus might. Again, I think because this is one smaller than the group, I'm going to count as a patrol, so a might 0, resistance 3. So it's just he gets to roll his sword with no modifier. Great success. Yep, so he gets a success plus 1 extra d6. Reduce the foe's resistance by 1. With more success icons, create an opening for your band and gain plus 1 dice on the clash roll. So, the Scrooge is like, who dares to disturb our snack? And then they pounce. However, they hadn't quite considered how quickly Duinhir would be able to unsheath his sword, and lo and behold, that first wolf that pounced, he just kind of takes its head off and is ready, and this enheartens the others who managed to get their weapons free. So set the band stance. We're going to be guarded. Our clash roll is favored, but success icons of the clash roll are ignored because these things have leapt at us, so we're on the defensive here. Make the roll. So I lose 1 dice because we failed the battle roll. I gain 1 dice because of the success in the single combat. It's favored, and I need to roll war. So plus 1 minus 1 is 1, but favored, so I get 2d12 plus 1 dice. 2d12 plus 1. Anything else here? Bold, proud, eager, fierce. You know what? There's a couple of things in here that I think would necessitate us, not necessitate, would allow us to get an extra dice. 9, 10, 12. 12 is not enough. The readiness is just so low. So there was a failure. Make an endurance test for the band on page 203. The Mori book, honestly, if you want to play Lord of the Rings, Mori book is the one to get. Obviously, and the rules. Make a rally roll, 2 dice. In a battle, target number is modified by might, which is 0. So 2 dice plus 1d12. Aiming for a 16. We get a 9, which is insufficient. Damage is painful. With success on the rally roll? Nope. On failure, a member of the band suffers an injury. Again, I think that Gira is just going to throw herself in the way of something. She's next into the fight after Duinhir. And so, yeah, the wolves are jumping around. One of them catches her, grabs her, starts shaking. Regin pushes it off, but there's just this swirl of combat at the moment. Mentha and Vimberthil are kind of like sitting behind and trying to stab with their weapons, but it's mainly Gira, Regin, and Duinhir who are putting the hard yards here. So again, on the second round, Duinhir is going to, again, push his advantage. He killed one of the beasts, and so now he redoubles his efforts. Let's roll our swords. Ugh, okay, 14, that's a fail. That's unfortunate. If he's failed his fight, Roll 2 success dice, add them together, and decrease the endurance by that amount. Ooh. Alright, so his endurance goes down by 4. That could be worse. That could be a lot worse. 22. That's down to 2 as well. And now we're going to... You know what? We're going to be reckless this time. We're going to be really aggressive. It says, hey, with your pusher advantages. But I think what it is we don't want this fight to keep going for too long. Not just because of the time, but because we also know that the goblins might catch up if we wait too long. So we're going to be more aggressive. The roll is ill-favored, but it automatically reduces the resistance of the foe by 1. So we roll 2d6, 2d12, keep the lowest one. Fury, roll these dice. Lowest dice is a 6, 10, 16. You know what? The funny thing is, so that's still a success. We got a success, plus we got an additional success dice. That's hilarious. Clash success. I can't remember. I don't think I've actually had a clash success to know what this does. So, success, you gain 1 success to spend using the clash success table. Each success icon on the clash table, clash roll, provides 1 additional success. So we've got 2 things that we can choose on this clash success table. We can attack to reduce resistance by 1, move towards objective, overcome the complication, gain an advantage, or harry the archfoe. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the resistance by 2. It was already reduced by 1, there was only 1. So I think after Gira shook that creature off, she just launched herself, and everyone's like, you know what, that is the moment. Duinhir, maybe seeing Duinhir fall, everyone redoubled their effort to stop the same thing from happening as last time. And they just go absolutely ham, throw themselves at these wolves, and manage to beat them. Excellent. So that's the end of that combat. It turns out that that goblin is severely wounded but still alive. Regin is not a fan. And it says about how we should just put it out of its misery. But I think weirdly enough, it's going to be Fimbrithil who wants to make sure that, one, it's not killed without mercy, but also just see if she can elicit some information from it first. Oh look, yeah, as she's trying to work with it, do you have a name, goblin? And it says its name is Clash. And it's smirking at the company. Goes, you think you saved me? I'd rather be a meal than be rescued by a bunch of bumbling fools like you. Now we do have the chance to interrogate. We can use or riddle. Which, let me do that again. So Duinhir is going to try and awe it, and I think again with this party behind him, we're just going to give him an extra dice there. Explaining how this, they got rid of the wolves, so should probably cooperate. It doesn't really believe him though. So he's not gonna tell them anything. However, we have spared him. So he does. It's like he does point out actually the way to the goblin lair is down that way. Which gives us an automatic success on our third roll. Which means we now get down to the goblin lair. So the flickering light of fires and echo of guttural voices signal that you have last reached the lair of the goblins. The heavy stench that fills your nostrils confirms it. If the 3 explore rolls was made exploring produced 1 or more 6s, we reach it by one particular way, otherwise we reach it by the other way. Where were those rolls, is the question. Swords? Nope. Should be weary, courtesy, or song. Okay, so that was a kid's travel, scan. I was looking, battle, swords. Oh, was this the one? Swords. Hold on. So that was the okay, so that was the fight, which means that was the one. Oh, explore, here we go. Oh, so it did have a 6. Alright, so we have arrived by the high level tunnel. Whatever that means. Now there's still a number of pages, and I'm just looking at the time, so what I might do is, it turns out this is going to be a 3-parter. This is what happens when you only have 1-hour episodes. As I say, the flickering light of fires and echo of guttural voices signal that you've at last reached the lair of the goblins. And so what's going to happen is when I return for the next session, which might actually be tomorrow, see what happens, we will see what this goblin lair looks like. Again, Duinhir has managed to get himself injured, Gira, and got hurt from the wolf, although we've bound that now, and Regent is still smarting from where he was struck by goblin arrows on the hill. But okay, by and large, using the Moria rules just to play a pre-published adventure, I think it works. What I really want to do is to get the equivalent of Moria rules, but for something like Dragonbane or the Year Zero engine, so that you can play a wider range of Free League games with a full party, but solo without having to run 5 characters. So maybe that's something that I work on. In the meantime, thank you so much for taking a break with me tonight, whenever you've watched this. If you haven't watched part 1, that's kind of curious. Probably should have watched that before this one, but you can go back and do that now if you want. And as I say, I will come back for the 3rd and ideally final part of this adventure at some point. So take care, don't forget to look after yourself, and see you later.